Good morning, everybody, on this day after the eclipse. Isn't it funny how we gauge time by events? First we had pre-COVID, post-COVID. Now we have pre-eclipse, post-eclipse. Oh well, I hope you were able to get out and enjoy that. It was the second time that I've seen a total eclipse. The first time was, I believe, back in 2017. We drove to Kentucky, and that was the line of totality, and so we got to see it. And that was my first experience with the total that I can remember. I remember several partials, but just the total. It was pretty awesome. Got to enjoy it with my daughter and two of my grandkids, which they had no clue what was going on. They just were glad to be at Grandma's and playing. So today we're going to take a different twist on Bertie's year. This is part of your block that you would have gotten. This is March, I believe, and you've got your shamrocks in there and your bumblebee, and Bertie's pretending to be a bee with her hat. But what we're going to do today are these half square triangles, because those are going to show up on every single block. And if you're not a quilter or are familiar, we just want to make sure that you can complete all of the quilt in the way that it needs to be quilted. So I put my top and bottom borders on. So we're going to work on our side borders. Now I already have a couple of them finished because I had to do them when I was doing the rest of them. But I'm going to show you how we go about doing half square triangles. And just to give you a couple tools that are really, really helpful. Oops, I just dropped my pins. This is a quick quarter ruler, and I know I've shown this one to you before, but it is amazing, and it is worth the investment in it. You lay your ruler down to where you would go from tip to tip, and then you could draw your line. That would be your center line, and then you can draw on either side. So this would be your stitching line, and this would be your cutting line. I don't have this particular one. I have a Fons and Porter, and it has your line at the center. You just line that up, and I'll show you how to use these as we go through. And you need a good fabric marker, one that's going to disappear, but you have to make sure you have one that is actually going to show up. That was a little bit of a problem with me, because looking at our fabric, this is our flannel, which you'd have to use a darker one just to make sure it showed up. But on the yellow, you could draw your lines on the yellow. Now, if you see little numbers on there, those are my numbers to identify which fabric it is. So you'll see those, and it's okay. I use this disappearing ink pen, and it comes out purple, but it does disappear. And you can also use the friction pens. This one's blue, this one's purple. I'll probably go ahead and use the purple one, but we do have both of them here in the shop, and we have several others. You could also use like a chalk pen or pencil. We have a couple of those. I don't think a regular pencil is going to give you the visibility that you need. For squaring up your triangles, this is what I use. It's a 6.5 inch triangle, and this is awesome. I'll be using this in our video, so you'll see how we use it. But we have it in a 6.5 inch, we have it in a 4.5 inch, and we have it in a 9.5 inch. So whatever you think you would use it most, that would be excuse me, the size that I would get. I bought the 6.5 because I don't think we had the 4.5 yet, but probably the 4.5 would be sufficient for this one, for these smaller triangles. So those we have in the shop. So if you're interested, give us a call. We'll get those to you. So let's move Bertie out of the way. And we'll do, I'm using a Janome Skyline 7 today. And it's not my machine. It's the one we have here at the shop. So if you hear me say oops, it's because I pushed the wrong button or it's not working exactly like mine. It has the thread cutter on it. It also has a button. Focus on this one, Peter, right down here. If I push this button, look what happens. It goes up and down.
The automatic foot lift button.
That is so exciting. So I thought, okay, I got to look over this and make sure I know what I've got myself into here today. But
is your MO still just push a bunch of buttons until it does the thing you want it to do?
Absolutely. I mean, why not? It'll either blow up or do what you want it to. One of the two. The one thing that, and it's, here I am looking for it, and I just told you we have an up and down button, is I'm always looking for the lifter, which that's the lifter, but it's not working. So I have to remember to push the button. So you'll probably laugh at me when I forget to do the button or when I forget the start and stop. I started using the start and stop button on my machine this weekend. I'm just trying to figure out some more comfortable positions for sewing. So far it's working okay, but again, I'm sitting there pressing on my presser foot going, why is it not working? Oh, push the button. All right, so we are going to put back to the task at hand, your fabrics right sides together, and I did have to rip out because I got so excited. I thought, oh, I'll just do all these when I knew I couldn't do that because I was going to show this to you. So your squares are right sides together. And I think I'll do my yellow side. So with this ruler, this center line right here, I'm lining up with my points of my square in the diagonal. And I'm going to draw a line here. And then I'm going to draw a line here. So these are my stitching lines. And right here would be my cutting line. So if you use the other one, you'll have like a dashed line. That would be your cutting line. So we're going to take this over here, and we're going to end up with 2 triangles. There, did you see what I did?
What did you do?
I went for the... This is going to be fun. So you want to line up your line with your needle and in between your presser foot. Pop that down. And I do have this set on slow so I don't sew my fingers up. I'm going to sew along that line. And there we've used 3 buttons. Oop. Went to do it again. No, I went to lift it up. This is old habits. Wow. Okay, so you line it back up and you sew on the other line. Let's slow this down a little bit. It goes faster than my machine. I always get a little nervous when something's running on its own that I can't control with my foot.
Well, you're brave. At least you're using the start-stop button.
I know. Okay. This is a good machine. That's what Stephanie told me I needed to use. So you have both sides stitched. And there you go. So you're going to take, they tell you to do 1/4 of an inch, which that's going to be right about your points. But I'm going to line up my points here. And this is something new to me too. This is a Quilter Select.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah.
That's one of those gravity blades.
There we go. So see, that shield goes either way. So I'm going to be cutting this way, so I need the shield this way. If I was a lefty, it would need to go the other way. Ooh, how about that, Peter?
Yeah.
It's an ambidextrous.
This is Cappy's favorite cutting tool.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm going to hold this down, and I'm going to cut right along there. So now I have 2 triangles.
And then you just hit it on the table to close it.
I do?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
And the weight of that, it feels
Yeah,
so nice in the hand.
It's very weighted.
It's got those little grippy grips.
Yeah. I have the Olfa, and sometimes it gets weird and goes weird. So that's pretty cool. So we carry those too. So if you want to check those out, check them out. All right, so we're going to go over to the ironing board. Take a trip with me, Peter, because this is where your quiz comes in.
Trying to navigate my route.
Yeah. Here, let me turn it a little bit for you. All right, I'm using an Oliso Pro iron, and if you heard what it just did, it has little feet. So, you know, typically you set your iron up like that. With this one, you don't. It pulls itself up off of your ironing surface, so you don't sit there and just burn your ironing board. Now, I can choose to either
Ooh, trick question.
open. How do you press your seams? Open or to the dark side?
Well, since Dawn came onto the scene, and I bought one of those woolly clapper thingies, I'm pressing everything open. But on that's very fascinating because one side's thick, one side's thin. I would instinctively want to balance it out. But then, is it going to show? You know, weight-wise, I don't know. So I'll leave it to the professionals. So what do you do?
I press to the dark side.
There you go.
So when I go to pick up, see, it lost its little feet. So do I go like this, Peter?
I mean, you can iron it, but
Or
this
do I go
isn't
down?
ironing.
You
Ironing
press.
is what my shirt needs today, but pressing is what we need to flatten that seam out.
Well, here, lay down here on the board and I'll iron your shirt for you. So you're going to, however you do this, open to the dark to the light. I always press to the dark.
Good idea.
Unless
Can't go wrong.
It's a Lori Holt quilt where you have 9,000 seams coming together.
Yes.
Occasionally she will tell you to press it open. And there is logic to why she says that. So that's when I will press it open. So we're pressing. We're not going back and forth. We're just, okay. And then the machine does, this is all automated. Can you believe that? The iron sits up on its own. The machine does its own thing. So we have these pressed open, and we have these little dog ears, which can be a little annoying. But we're going to go back to the cutting mat, and we're going to take care of those. Now, if you are very familiar with your rotary cutter, which I'm not on this one, you can just go in and swoop them. Me, I would pull this up and go right to the edge, kind of at an angle, so it takes it back into the seam. So it got rid of those dog ears. Poor doggy ears, they didn't do anything to anybody. Alright, so we've got those ready. Peter, it didn't work.
No, the other way. I don't know. Uh-oh.
Faulty.
I don't know if you have to push the button and then...
That might be it because
Yeah.
it wasn't releasing.
I've never used it.
Okay, so there you have your half square triangles. Now, in the book it tells you, I believe, to square them up to 2.5 inches. So we're going to take our handy dandy little square up ruler, and we're going to take that 2.5 inch line right at the seam and then line up this point and that point with this center line. So that's not bad. But really,
You're so accurate, you don't even need... No, I'm just kidding.
sometimes you do, because
Yeah.
look at this.
Get that little bit right
when
there.
I move it out, I do have some that I trimmed off. Sometimes I have a little pile going depending on how many I've done. So we're going to square this one up. So we got a little bit there. So there I have a perfect 2.5 inch square triangle, which is important when you go to put these all together to go around for your border. This one was even more accurate. You have to be careful you don't move your ruler too. And sometimes you have to do some jockeying around to get it just right. I always always like to make sure it's good the other way, as you can't have a lopsided triangle, which I may be a little lopsided there, but it will work out. It always does. But usually if I've gotten one squared up, the other one's going to be fine. Alright, so let me see if I have enough to do this border real quick, because this border is a little bit different than the other ones. Oh, I lost my number. Okay, that's a 4. It is important to keep your numbers together, because if you don't, then you're going to end up doing it wrong. So if you look at your pattern, and it's important. Okay, let's push the button and see if it works. Yep, push your button first. These are, they're not sitting at an angle like the one the previous month was. These are, you're creating like a stripe. So it's important how you place your triangles and what goes where.
Oh, I see that. I see that.
Because like before, you would do that, and then you would sew those together. Not this one. Because you're doing a stripe, we're going to pretend that this is 1 and 2. So I have just a 3 over here. And you got to know the dark is the dark and the light is the light. So this one, to start off with, has your dark point down and your light point at the beginning. The next one, we need to turn this one that way. And I know these colors are not the correct way. I just don't want to take up your time with sewing all the squares together. But see, that creates a brown stripe. And then when we go to place our third one, it is going to be this way, because then it creates the light stripe. When we put the next one in, we create the dark stripe, and then our next one would create the light stripe. So this is kind of a little different of a border in here. So it just gives that striped effect. Sometimes you have things that all look the same, and other times you don't. And in this one, they're using, what is this stitch? Because I looked at that and went, oh, that's a new stitch for me. Oh, I should have highlighted it. But you're going to do an embroidery stitch if you choose to. The verdict is still out with me as far as whether I'm going to do those stitches on the border or not. This one's called a cretan. That doesn't sound right, but I think that's C-R-E-T-A-N. And it's a funny little stitch, and I had to do some checking to figure out how to do it. But that kind of gives you, it gives you this effect right here, which
it darn near looks like a honeycomb.
Yeah, if you put another one right alongside here, I think you would have a honeycomb. It would create a hexagon in there.
Because I see half a hexie.
Yeah.
Which that's so cool.
Yeah, so if you love embroidery, I've not finished out any of mine yet, so it could be I'll go back at the end and put all those stitches in, but right now I want my options open, because I still haven't decided if I'm doing a whole quilt or if I'm doing each individual piece. So that's how you do half square triangles, and that's why it's important to pay attention. It's important to square them up, because if you have all different sizes, you're going to have a really weird border that's not going to fit. So we wanted to go over that with you, because we got to thinking, okay, we talk about the wool, but if you're a wool person, you may not be a quilter, and you may have no idea how to do a half square triangle. So if you are not a quilter and this makes you very nervous, find a quilter and have them do your half square triangles for you. But they're fun.
Hello?
You don't do a whole bunch of them. You do just enough for your border. And I hope you had fun with Bertie for that month. I thought it was kind of cute, her and her little bumblebee friend. And I wanted to show you the next one that's coming your way. It is for April.
That's pretty.
Look at that.
That's really pretty.
You'd think colors don't make a huge difference,
Oh, but they do.
that blue just really sets wool on its ear, I think. Because a lot of times you use the muted colors, the primitive colors, but with Bertie, you're going to be using all different kinds of colors. So this blue did it for me.
That's pretty.
And she's got her little bunny hat on and her Easter eggs. So when you get your kit in the mail, this is what it's going to look like. Look at that yumminess. You have your background fabric. And then you have, let's see, this is your blue, or not blue. Yes, this is blue. This is your brown for the bird body. Here's her, or do I have that backwards? I think I have it backwards. This is, what did I do with mine? Okay, this is the bird's body. Oh, I see what Deborah did. Here's the wing. And then I believe this is the branch. How about if I look at the picture so I don't confuse everybody? Because I'm usually good at that. This is the branch. This is the nest. It's kind of a pretty little color there. Look at these fun blues. You would not believe, you would think it'd be easy to go out and pick 4 blues. My daughter Julie and I spent probably half hour, 45 minutes putting blues together. We would have them all. We'd think we had it, and we looked at it and went, no, that's just not right. So we'd take something out and put something in, and it was just, I thought, why did that take so long? But it did. You had to get just the right thing, and I knew in my head what I wanted it to look like. So once, I'm kind of like a bulldog in that way. I won't let go of that until it's absolutely necessary. So I think we got some good
I think you
colors
nailed
for you.
it. Because the other thing is when you select colors, you're also selecting patterns.
Right.
And so you might think you got the colors down right, but then when you put the patterns next to each other,
it's like, ugh.
it's like, oh, so you just have to keep,
Yeah.
yeah.
And two,
It's tough.
thinking, okay, this is spring, Bertie. You got to have a little daisy in there. And a
See?
geometric.
See?
And a plaid and another geometric. So, yeah, we worked hard on those colors. Hopefully the next one, what's May? What color are those? Oh, dear. It's a muted blue. It's not a bright blue. So maybe we'll pull some of those that we decided not to use. Okay, so we got all that. The green is for the leaves on the tree.
That's pretty.
And then
Very pretty.
here is Bertie's hat, her little bunny hat. And then we have 3 eggs in the nest. 2 of them are blue, and 1 is pink with a purple band. So there's your blue for your eggs. And then there's your pink with your purple band. And it's cute because you're going to do an embroidery stitch across the band. And then there'll be embroidery stitches on both of your eggs. One is just French knots because it's going to be polka dotted. And the other one is like a crosshatch. So there'll be some extra embroidery on this one, but not a lot. Not a lot of different stuff. And then this little piece, that is for Bertie's beak. We try to keep her beak and her body and her wing all the same colors. Sometimes we forget. And then, of course, you need to have your button for Bertie's little hat. She has it buttoned underneath her chin. So this will be the kit that you're going to be getting in the mail soon. And hopefully not too soon. Deborah, you can take your time cutting because I have to finish my other one before I start this one. So, Deborah's had some things in her life going on, so we've gotten a little behind. I've tried to help her catch up, but there's only so much I can do. So, if you have any questions about any of the tools that we use, the sewing machine, about the half square triangles, laying out your borders, give us a call here at the shop. You can talk to the sewing machine department about the sewing machine. This is a good basic machine, I think, because that's what I told Stephanie. I said, give me a basic that I can use and show, and then that would help that out. And then the tools, the rulers that we have all of them in stock. We have at least one of them. So if you're having trouble with your half square triangles not coming out right, get a square up tool. It made a huge difference because I hadn't been using one. I was laying it out on the cutting mat and measuring, and then you lop off too much on this side, and then you've got weird shaped triangles. So this makes them look normal. I had a lot of abnormal. So our iron, if you have any questions about those, we do have those here in the shop. So I believe, I should have looked, but if we don't have the Quilter Select rotary cutters in stock, we can get them for you. But like I said, if you have any questions, either put them on the video, or at the comments below the video, or give us a call here at the shop. Somebody will be here to help answer your questions. And if not, we'll investigate it until we do have an answer for you. So I think spring is finally here. It may finally stay warm. I was wearing shorts yesterday.
So hot yesterday.
And running around barefooted. So that was really fun. And I paid for it with a nice little sunburn, but hey, it's got to happen sometime during the year. So
you got to earn the burn.
Well, I have to get a really bad burn before I start tanning. Yes, I do know that getting a sunburn is not healthy. I get that, but I'm outside so much I can't help it. And no, I don't like sunscreen. So please don't chastise me. I've been this way my whole life. I'm okay, I think. But, oh, Peter, guess what I did the other day?
What'd you do?
Oh my gosh, I went to Lowe's. And guess what?
What?
I bought plants for my garden. I bought broccoli. I bought lettuce, iceberg, and romaine. I bought cauliflower. I bought tomatoes. I bought 3 kinds of peppers. I'm excited.
Yay!
So, and I did have somebody say, oh, you're surely not going to put those in your garden yet. And I'm thinking, some of these are cooler weather.
Yep.
And I looked at
cauliflower and the broccoli are all, and the lettuces are all cool weather.
Yeah. And they said that I can put those in my garden by April 7th. My
Yep.
husband says, you're late. I'm like, well, we have to till that section
It's
up
not
first.
an exact day.
I know. But we did have a frost after I had bought them, so we put them underneath the patio table and then put a blanket over the top. So they were safe. They were happy. I watered them this morning, talked to them, and decided where I was going to put them in the garden so we can go in and till that part up and not do the whole garden.
That's a good idea.
Get them put in, and then when we're ready for the rest of them, I don't have to tromp over them and run over them with the rototiller to get the rest of it done.
That's
So,
a good idea.
yeah, I'm excited. I love it when the garden goes in because I have something to baby.
Yeah, you have something to, yep.
Yeah, and I still am going to dig up all my rose bushes and get rid of them. And I'm going to plant a field of cone flowers of all different colors. So,
What are they called?
what?
The coneflowers?
Echinacea? So,
I can't ever say it right.
Oh. Yeah.
But I love those. Those are pretty.
Oh, yeah. They're going to attract the butterflies
And the hummers.
hummingbirds and everything. So, as much as I love winter and fall, I like spring and summer because things get to grow and things turn green. And the verdict is still out whether my apple tree is going to have blossoms yet. We've got tiny leaves on it, but I haven't seen any flowers. So I don't know if it's done producing apples or not, but we'll see. So go to Lowe's, buy your garden plants. Even if you just plant them in a container, that's okay. It's still your garden plants. So have a great day. Enjoy finishing out your Bertie's year and be looking forward to the next month. We're 3 months in, So that makes us, what, a quarter of the way done? So, but you know, when we get done, it'll be, oh, it's over. But I'm working on something else. So it will be exciting. So have a great day. Enjoy your wool and your stitching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.